Now you can see downstairs we've got Justin working on tight areas here, like behind toilets, which we find is definitely one of the most time-consuming parts of this job, is getting in those tight little areas behind the toilets. And I don't know if there's any tricks you know that might help us speed things up. He's doing this in tuxedo gray down here for the downstairs bathroom. And as you can see, it's very time-consuming, and we eventually get it up nice, but it takes a while. So if you have any tips you can give us, that would be great. You can see he's already done some spots there. There's still a lot of tidying up to do, and he knows, and he's going to work at it. And you can see it's going to come up nice, but we're just trying to find a way. Like, you can look at how much product is on his cloth there, and he can't help it. Like, I don't know what to tell him to try and you know, put less product on. If we put less on, it just doesn't fill in the grout properly. So I'm not quite sure, but if you can tell us that if you think we're putting too much product on, let us know. Be happy to hear from you. But getting in those tight areas, as you can see, is quite tedious and time consuming. Okay, now there's a couple of things that we think you're going to say when you see these concerns. First, you're going to say, well, you're wiping too slow with the cloth. Well, here's what happens when he wipes fast. It just leaves a big smear, and he's just got to wipe it again. So here he goes, he's wiping it again. He's going a little slower this time. This is a pretty good tile for wiping. Oh, he's got to wipe it again. And now in your instructional videos, you made it look like you could do 3 or 4 lines like this on one cloth. We're lucky if we get 1 line done on one cloth before we have, like, see, he's already having issues now. He's going to try and find another clean side. He's going to wipe it a 3rd time now. He's trying to touch it up before it's finally starting to look decent. And fortunately, this particular grout is deep enough that he didn't have to, like, go carefully along the edges or anything, that it did stay in there, so we were lucky there. Okay, now the other concern you're saying is, well, maybe we're putting on too much product. So, okay, Justin, try and put on just a tiniest little bead of product on this next line. Are you going to go there? No, just go across here. One long line. I want to really demonstrate this. So, very tiny bead, quickly across all the way. He's putting as little on as possible, as you can see. Just a very tiny bead, and it's a fairly wide grout, so that's being very sparing as we could possibly be with the product. He goes all the way across. Now he's going to grab his brush, which is already worked in with some product, so it's good and gooped up there. And he's trying to get it up to the edge. Now he's coming across. He's working in that product, and it's spreading out fairly well. In this case, I don't always have quite so much luck with it. But he only got halfway across. I guess he's going to stop there for a moment and try and go for the rest of the line here. So very tiny bead. With me, I'm a little different. I actually put the plunger face first right on the ground, kind of draw like it was a magic marker with it. But I think it's applying about the same amount of product either way. And he's just going to go from the other end there and bring it back with just a tiny bead, tiniest bead he can possibly put on. And now he's going to work that in with his brush. And he's just using the top angle of the brush in this case. I use the whole brush, but everyone's got their own techniques. And there we go. He's worked it back the other way. So in this case, the tiny bead worked. There's still plenty of product there. You can see it oozing out the sides. So he's going to try and wipe that. Now, I don't know what his way is. We found going really slow seems to be more effective than trying to go fast. Now you see how he just wipes some right out of the grout there? That's what you got to watch for. So he'll have to go over that. And what I usually do when you find a spot like that, if it's wiped out or it's soaked in, is you just touch it up with the brush. So you grab the brush there and he just kind of paints it back in, touch it up.
It's still kind of wetter.
Yeah, he's going to let that dry in a wee bit because it's a bit wet there, he says. And you can see he just wipes them out there because he's been going both directions. In bathrooms it's kind of different than a big area, because a big area you can go whole lines across the floor. In bathrooms you got to kind of do sections. That's at least what we've found. So there he is working away at the one line. There's still quite a bit of excess, even going with the tiniest bead possible.